So let's break it down. How did today start? Today started with obviously the sprint race. So yesterday we had a really good performance for Lewis Hamilton. In the qualifying, obviously he got pipped to pole by Lando Norris. Lando pulled it out of the bag. However, Lewis was still very impressive, managed to get P2 for the sprint race this morning. Now, at the beginning of the sprint race, going into turn 1, Lewis actually got a much better run off the line, and he actually pipped Lando to the corner. And if I'm being honest, Lando probably should have conceded and given it up that position, but instead he tried to fight Lewis, and he was going around the outside of turn 1. It's a very wet track still, and he ended up losing a lot of rear end grip and he drove off the track at that point, and then he got swallowed up and overtaken by a load more cars. Now, in terms of the sprint race, Lewis managed to hold P1 for several laps. I think it was only to about lap 8 or lap 9, when Max Verstappen, after Lewis actually made a lock-up going into one corner, Max Verstappen was then able to close the gap, and the following straight he managed to overtake him with ease. Obviously, the Red Bull is a rocket ship compared to Lewis, and Lewis isn't really fighting Max for anything, which is a shame, because Formula One kind of sucks without some competition, especially for pole position. Now, after a strong performance in the sprint race, obviously Lewis managed to finish the race P2, so really good innings from him. He actually managed to collect some points, something that we haven't really seen much from Lewis this year, unfortunately, for various reasons. Then moving into qualifying, so a lot of confidence within the team. Mercedes, yeah, have we managed to finally crack it? Is this the weekend where we're going to be singing for the hills because we finally found a solution to get this W15 working? Ha ha ha, said the W15. So we've got into qualifying, and I just lost for words. Lewis says he's gone one way and George has gone the other way. This tends to be the common narrative whenever anything goes wrong in qualifying, for Lewis especially. And he ends up putting it P18. So, I don't know, guys. What is going on with Lewis Hamilton? Is this the end? How can you go from like being in a position where you're P2 in sprint? Obviously, granted, it was wet, and yesterday doesn't really take into account the situation, right? It wasn't as wet as yesterday. Today was relatively dry. But was it a case of he was pushing too hard? We saw he locked up into the final. I think it was the final corner, or the penultimate corner. Is it a case of he was pushing the car too much, too soon? You know, we're talking about Q3 here. Just do a nice, safe run and get the car through. Because this is embarrassing now. And you look at the post qualifying interview, and he's like, "Yeah, this happens," and you can tell this is a man that probably doesn't care anymore. Or I say he doesn't care; it's a strong word. But I think this Mercedes has broken him. I really do. I think I've never seen someone so flat and depleted, having got on the podium this morning in the sprint race, then go on to qualifying and park at P18. It's just embarrassing. I really don't know. I really hope when Lewis gets to Ferrari that things pick up for him, because being a Lewis Hamilton fan, this is hard. This is very hard. We know that Max is going to win. It looks like it's going to be a good race for P2 though. It does look like the Ferraris are definitely very quick for this weekend. Got really strong race pace. We've got Fernando Alonso in the mix, and also Lando and Oscar. I'm predicting, or there's some rumours going around that perhaps Red Bull's tyre degradation isn't as good as everyone thought on this surface. So maybe there's going to be an upset. But if I'm being brutally honest, I just couldn't see it happen. Let me know in the comments what you think of Lewis's performance today. Obviously, sprint race was great, but qualifying, what do we put it down to? Should he have been making those mistakes that he made? Or he locked up, he braked too late going into one corner, and that lost him a lot of time. But nonetheless, is this the driving you expect of a 7/8 time world champion? Let me know in the comments, guys.